I was going, okay. All right, so Miss Hamilton, you did your first lesson where you were officially observed. Okay, tell me, what do you feel went well?
I feel like the kids really kind of I think they really understood what's going on. I think they liked the videos and the PowerPoint. I think they were a little loud at times. Probably had some a little bit more distractiveness going on.
Yes, and to piggyback on that, like I feel like when I got a chance to look around at some of their work, as students were working like closer towards me, I was able to see that they were actually understanding what they were supposed to say. And so I piggyback on that. What else would you say is something that went well?
I think these worksheets turned out really well. The little follow the PowerPoint things, I think they really gave them guidance. They also, all of them wrote a sentence at the end, a summary sentence, which is really
Yay!
I didn't think they would get.
And that was kind of like an impromptu exit ticket.
Yeah.
That you were able to see that they actually got it. What kind of things did you see they wrote?
Well, some of them were funny. A lot of them were like, I learned what people do for a living around the world. That was what I learned that the sheriff does laws and to protect us, and the clerk, they do documents, and we're all residents. And I learned a lot about people. I don't know, about sheriff, residents, county clerks. That was pretty good. Do that on Ravion.
So you're able to see like that they actually did get something from the lesson, and something that to piggyback on the things that I noticed that went well with you. I circled one that I really was like tickled at. One of the students, Jamarion, when you had them turn and talk about what a sheriff is. Before, I think it might have been before you showed the video, Jamarion was like, well, the sheriff we got, so like that's like how he started it off. And so it was like they already had such background knowledge that surprised even me. I didn't think they had any background knowledge on what a sheriff was or what a sheriff does. And so like you, the compliment I want to give you of what I noticed well is that the class was actively engaged. Whenever I did a number check to see, 90% of the students were actively engaged. Even the student that was eating his breakfast at the table, on his page, he had one picture written. He was actively engaged in the lesson. And so I thought that was something that you did really well. I thought that the idea of this being a topic that's kind of dull, kind of dry, you made it lively. I feel like you made it lively with the videos, with them having them turn and talk, with talking to them about, you gave one fact. What I said. You related it to their life.
I compared it to The Office and things.
Yes, and then you compared it to Antonio. You were saying how I put real connection. When you compared it to Antonio as him being class representative, that immediately clicked with them because they knew, like, we did vote for him. So I thought you did that really, really well. Let's see. Yes. So I said, I feel like you. I put it down that you had them in buy-in. So like you bought them into the idea that we're learning about the government. We're learning about the different branches, and even though because I timed it and the whole lesson itself was 53 minutes, so it was long, but they were still invested. The fact that you had an exit ticket that showed that they all were able to take something away, they were still invested in the process. They were still invested in learning with you because you made it engaging. You did that. So I thought that was awesome. Okay, so what is something that you would change or something that didn't go well?
I probably wouldn't do the write on the board thing because I'm about halfway too much in writing it and like trying to walk from the computer to the thing, and then they unplugged it at one point, and so that just wasn't worth it. So if I was gonna do, if I ever do the they write it on the thing again, I will stay put there. But with the back and forth, it just got to be like crazy. Not stepping over kids and
and it can like throw off your teacher groove,
right?
Because then it got unplugged and you were like snap, so you like it kind of threw you off a little bit. I do agree like with the idea that you were saying about like if I'm at the anchor chart, I'm at the anchor chart, and then I saw further in you kind of had somebody clicking for you,
right?
And so you kind of like solved the problem throughout, and so I think that's good that you're like probably won't be the clicker and
nope. One or the other.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else of something that you would change or something that didn't go as planned?
I did have, I know Jordan didn't even look at his worksheet, so that kind of threw me. And I also had some students that were like back in the back of the classroom. I didn't really notice, which is probably my fault. But I would much rather have had them move forward onto like the sides to cap on. But they still did the work and they were still engaged in talking and things. And yeah, I think a lot of times I let them talk more than probably you do. It's just me. So,
yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. And so it's like the great thing about it is that you had 90% of your students were engaged, and then you have that 10%. You're still trying to reel them in.
Right.
So like something you've seen me do in the past, getting peers around them to support them. Would help loop those last couple in to where it's like, okay, it's not a consequence that I'm going to give you. I'm going to try to help you first. But yeah, I definitely agree. I could see that. And you did notice, you were like, hey, you guys are back here?
Yeah, I didn't really see that far back. My bad.
They were killing it, though.
Well, Antonio always is back, but Dylan was back here, too, which surprised me. He was doing so well.
And when I say that they were working together, Antonio was good for him. Like, Dylan was focused. He was tuned in. Whenever you told them to turn and talk, Dylan got to a point to where he knew Antonio was expecting him to talk. He turned to him right away. So I feel like even though they might not have been up close to you, he was still making good choices back there.
Michael and Chase were just giggling half the time.
Yeah. You're like, no.
I should probably move
one. So that could be something that you would change. What would you have done differently?
Probably would have moved one to the different spot. They were just nonstop.
Yeah.
Off subject, playing with stuff underneath the desk.
Yeah, and it's like, you have to trust your teacher withenness, because that's one of the strengths I said you had. Like, you have that withenness. You know what I'm saying? Like, even for you to say, like, I allow them to talk a little bit more than you do. That's your personality. You know what I'm saying? So, like, trust your teacher withenness, because you know what you will and will not allow. If something's bothering you, okay, somebody got to move. You know what I'm saying? Because you know it's affecting you, and it's now become a disruption.
Right.
So, like, trust yourself on that. And if they feel like you're mean or being bossy, they'll be fine, because they'll respect you for you being consistent to who you are. Some things that I feel like could have been different, that could have helped the smoothness of your lesson. I like the idea of you having videos throughout. I do feel like it was a lot of because like I put it was like a cycle wheel.
Yeah, it was video talk.
Yes.
Video talk.
Yes, it was like video talk, share, and you want your class is going to be engaged regardless, because of who you are and how you make it engaging, and you want to jazz it up. Right. You know what I'm saying? Break the cycle a little bit. Even if you do want them to share, maybe have them share in a different way. Yeah. Telling their pencil, have them writing it down. You want them to branch out from different ways, so they're not stuck in a cycle on that wheel. And I think that's why the timing may have went long. But that's something that I know you're going to get better at with time, because you're continuing to see that. I did feel like it was a lot of directs. I felt like when I counted, because I started doing tallies, and within 34 minutes, you were commenting on noise for tallies. And so I feel like, as your teacher personality, if you are okay with sharing, give them parameters for talking. because you don't want that to keep being the thing you say. Like, all right, guys, noise getting too loud. Noise getting too loud. If you're okay with them talking, give them that chance to talk, but say, keep your voice at a whisper. You know? Yeah. Because I think that you have no problem with them chatting with you or whatever, having that dialogue. You setting some boundaries around that. Yeah, because it can get kind of frustrating. Do you feel like you were getting a little frustrated?
Yeah, at times. Which is something I've struggled with before, too.
Like with class management or?
Yeah, when I taught math lessons and things last year.
Oh, okay. What? So you have taught?
Yeah, no, I've taught a couple things. I've taught 7 lessons.
Oh, okay. It should be 8. Yes. And I want you to give yourself credit in the fact that you've received new learning. You've received new learning and you are constantly adapting that. Mm-hmm. And so, like, don't even give no wiggle room. Maybe you could talk to them at another time. But for now, you want that structure to be established because that can become something that can affect your mood, you know? Mm-hmm. I do want to commend you on this, and I know you're so aware of it. Teach okay.
Oh, I can't. I cannot. You say it, I say okay, so I go okay, and they look at me like, no, teach. I'll get it eventually. Lord,
you are so aware. You're like, it's so like sometimes you would say it, and you're like, teach okay, and like, you know, and then like as soon as you do it, you catch yourself,
right,
and you're like, okay, so like I would just. You're gonna get better the more you practice it.
Yeah, I'll get it.
But just giving them that space. Here's the assignment. Teach. Okay. Because you got it. And then they show you grace in it too. They're like, we already know what she's gonna say. You know, so they started turning to where you were able to give them compliments. I love how such and such is neat. So they already know.
Well, I also know as soon as I started doing that, everybody did it. It was like amazing.
Your compliment game is strong. And like when we went to the training yesterday and they were saying how that's good. Good job. That is not true at all. You know how to give specific compliments. They bring change. And so that's another thing I noticed. Compliments need to need. You know, so like all throughout. So yes, you had a lot of redirects and you also had a lot of time where you were complimenting students. And so a way to match that is to continue to set the tone. Because they'll follow wherever you lead them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's see. I said you had good teacher withedness. And how I knew that is because you recognized the group needed a break.
Yeah. We did the jumping jacks. They were all like, my back hurts, this and that. I was like, all right, that's it. We're doing some jumping jacks.
That is withedness. You know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, let me ask you, how did you know they needed that?
I had I had squirmies, a couple squirmies, and a couple kids that just wanted to raise, wanted to leave the room. You can tell they were raising their hand in the bathroom or whatever. And I was like, well, we're going to go in a second. Just chill. We'll do some jumping jacks. And then we were fine for the last 10 minutes.
That is withedness. That's a hard skill for teachers to learn. Because some teachers will just keep going. And they'll see it as, you need a consequence. I'm going to clip down. Go sit in your seat. When it's like, no. I've been teaching for 53 minutes. They need a break, you know, so like that withedness is something that you have. And that's how I know, like, you're going to be fine with these critiques because you're aware of them yourself. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to say anything about teach okay because you already knew. You're like, yeah. And you already are aware of that. You are aware of your redirects and how often.
Yeah. And
so it's like those things you are aware of. And so I know you're going to continue to get better at them. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that kind of was like, I said students understood your expectations of like how you wanted them to record on the sheet, how you wanted them to turn and talk and share what they said. When I listened in, I didn't have a lot of students talking. Matter of fact, I don't think I heard anyone that was in my area talking about anything other than the topic. And so, I thought that was good, and I feel like you were good accountability because you were going from group to group listening. So not only were they held accountable by the expectations, but they were held to that same expectation because you were listening. Right. And you pulled popsicle sticks. So she pulled your stick, and you didn't know. you were like, you can ask a friend. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't leave them hanging. That was dope. I said 90% of students were writing. Student was working while eating. So like, I feel like there were some really good things that I saw you do, Haley, and I'm very excited for you. Yes. And you're like, wait a minute. Okay, so out of some of the suggestions that me and you discussed, what are some that you may try?
I'm a fix teach okay, or okay teacher, whatever I do. Fix that. That's just gonna take me. That's just repetition, I think, mostly.
Yep.
I'm also gonna be more aware of students in the classroom. Like I kind of forgot about Micah. I probably should have moved Chase or Michael at some point earlier on. Awareness of just what's going on, kind of like on the lesson, not paying attention.
Like being able to bounce back.
Yeah.
Bounce into.
Yeah, use your eyes to. And ears.
Okay. Well, hey, we killed it. Not only did you get a chance to do a lesson, you did a couple safe seat conversations. Yeah. And, you know, if you feel like you can't do that, they just sit at the safe seat until you finish your lesson.
Yeah.
Because it's like, nope, you're not going to throw me out my dojo. But I saw you were able to do that up front. And when you tried to process with Manning, he wasn't okay to do it. And you just kept going. So I'm definitely excited for the next observation. Yay! Over and out.